Okay. Welcome to Post 111, Module 1. We will start with the first module. All right. Okay, suppose. All right. So, thank you. Let's look at the first topic in Module 1, okay? Which is what is politics. Okay. So, we under this module, we'll be looking at a few scholarly definitions and conceptualization of politics. Okay. So, um, let's begin from the classical definition. One of the founding fathers of political science is known as Aristotle, and he defined politics in his own way, what we today call a classical definition of what is politics. And to Aristotle, he says, man is by nature a political animal, what is known, as zoon politikon. So politics, for him, is the master science. Politics is the master science. And from there, what he is saying, that man is by nature a political animal, that man cannot do without politics. Man cannot exist outside politics. That for man to find fulfillment, for man to realize himself, he must do that within the context of the human society, and then through politics, through interaction, okay, through interaction with other human beings within the context of the human society, okay, well organized. And so a man can realize himself, his future, his ambition, okay, within the context of the society. And so to that extent, man, by nature, is a political animal. Do we get that? So he went further to say politics, okay, is the master science. And that is, okay, every other aspect of the society of human endeavor, also find fulfillment and can be only achieved through politics. Okay. Of course, we know today that the science world, the economic world, religious sector, and every other sector, okay, is under the political sector. Once politics is not gotten right, once the political system is not in stability, then it destabilizes every other sector in the society. Okay, that is why Aristotle claimed that politics is the master science. Another issue he raised is that politics is ubiquitous. Of course, that's true also. There is politics everywhere, okay? From the micro level to the macro level, okay? From the family level, from friendship level, organizational level, okay? So we find politics everywhere, you know. The father at home will want that his decision or interest be carried, the children the same. Okay, the mother of the house will also want that her interest be incorporated in decision making, in organization, be they religious organization, military organization, economic organization, health organization, educational organization. Anywhere you find human beings, okay, you find politics. And that is why Aristotle claimed that politics is ubiquitous. That's true, okay? And then again, he said politics is as old as human existence. It's as old as human existence, okay? And that is true. So politics started way back as old as, a human being existed. All right. So if that is established, let's look at a few approaches to the definition of politics. Now, coming back, precisely to the issue of definition. Okay, so let's come back precisely to definition. And so, for definition, we have about three, approaches to the definition and understanding of what politics is. The first one is the stipulative approach. The second is the concept based approach. And then the third is the operationalization approach. Let's take them one after another. The stipulative approach. This approach defines politics by appealing to authority, okay, and adopting the definition offered by political scientists who are widely regarded as authorities in the field. Okay, so authoritative definition. Here, you want to understand what is politics. You go through the lens of definitions offered by scholars, by authorities, established authorities in the field of politics. Okay, by what they have done, by what they have taught, by the things they have also read, they have put up, definition that somewhat define politics. So you want to understand politics, you go to their own definitions and interrogate their definition to appreciate what politics is. That's what the stipulative approach is about. Now, examples, okay, let me give a few examples of the stipulative approach. Scholars like Harold Laswell, David Easton, Robert Dahl, Vernon Van Dyke, okay. There are others, okay, but these scholars have defined politics in their various ways. And so when you want to understand politics, you look at their own definition. You look at their own definition. Okay, for example, Harold Laswell defines politics as involving the determination of who gets what, when, and how. You get that? That's for Harold Laswell. He defines politics as who gets what, when, and how. Okay, so very simple definition, but quite encompassing. Okay, who get what? That what represent values. Okay, appointments, offices. Okay, you want to be a senator, you want to be a president, you want to be the chief executive in an organization, yeah. So who get what? That's the value. Who get what value? Then when? At what time? Okay, at what time? For instance, our own is every 4 years. Every 4 years you have a election. So when? And then how? Okay, how talks about the process. In a democracy is through election. You get the how now. So in a democracy is through election. Okay. In a monarchy is through hereditary, and so on and so forth. Okay. So let's just, for the sake of time, let's move. Then David Easton also defined politics as having to do with the authoritative allocations of values. Authoritative allocation of value. Okay. So that is politics for David Easton. Quite illuminating definition. Authoritative allocation of value. Okay. Authoritative here means legitimacy, power. Okay. Those with power, those we have given authority to act on our behalf. For instance, the president, the governors, the senators, head of parastatals and what have you. So they allocate values, okay? They distribute, allocation, distribute. In terms of those value can be decision, can be resources. The governor, the president distribute resources, make decisions on our behalf, and carry them out. So that embraced the definition of David Easton. Let's look at Robert Dye. So politics is any stable pattern of human relations that involves power, influence, authority, and legitimacy. He brought all the most important concepts in politics together to define politics. Okay, so a relationship of human relationship, patterns of human relationship. He added stable, that's stability. Okay, pattern of human relationship that involves power, influence, authority, and legitimacy. When we go to this concept, you will understand that better. So Vernon Van Dyke, okay, For him, he said politics involves the activities of different actors, individuals and group alike, seeking to influence the determination of public policy. This is another fine perspective, to politics again. Of course, politics involves, group interaction, seeking to influence the determination of public policy. Okay, yeah, the Igbos ethnic group want to influence public policy. The House of Fulani ethnic group in Nigeria, for instance, want to also influence public policy. The Yorubas from the southwest want to influence and other ethnic groups like that. Okay, beyond ethnic group, you have political parties seeking, okay, APC, PDP, Labour. Everybody want to have access to influence public policy in his own conception of politics. That is what politics is all about. So, still under, if you look at the speculative scholarly approach, let's look at the commonalities. What is common among all the definitions we have highlighted? One, politics takes place within political system. Okay, that's a consensus in those definitions we have looked at. That politics takes place within political system. Two, the members of the political system have conflicting interest. Okay, yeah, we saw that highlighted in all the definitions we have looked at. And then number three, that members seek the common good of all. Okay, all right. The next, the concept-based approach. What is this about? So this approach defines politics according to the core concepts that capture its essence. Okay, so concept-based approach. We want to define politics. You go pick. Be careful. You will be careful to pick the concept that capture the essence of politics. You put them together and then you define politics. Are we together? Okay. For instance, let's look at core concept in politics. Let's start from there. Let's look at the core concept in politics. Okay, one is power. Power is one of the frontline concepts in politics. Two, consensus. Consensus. Okay. Three, influence. Influence. Four, conflicts. Conflicts. Five, decision making. Six, authority. And then seven here, policy. Okay, there are more than this, but let's just take a few just for our example. Okay, now example of a concept-based approach scholar is the definition offered by Robert Dye. Okay, Robert Dye's definition. And how did he define politics? Let's get back to it again. He said politics, to him, is any stable pattern of human relations that involves power, influence, authority, and legitimacy. Okay, so for him, the combination of these four elements define what is politics. And true to it, when you look at carefully what politics is all about, it will be very difficult for you to divulge politics from power, influence, authority, and legitimacy. These are core concepts in political science, and these are core elements also in politics that you cannot just do without them. Let's look at the third approach, the operationalization approach. So this approach is used for defining concepts that are complex and on which scholars are not able to agree on a single definition. We get that? Let me take it again. This approach is used for defining concepts that are complex and on which scholars are not able to agree on a single definition. Okay, like in all discipline, also in political science, there are concepts that scholars have variations on on their meaning. Okay, of course, we used to say that in the social sciences there is no all acceptable definitions. Or definition of concepts, especially some of these contested concepts. Some you may have consensus, but some there are no consensus on their definition. And so, when you want to define such concept in political science, you use the operationalization approach. Okay, so this account for organizing political science into sub-discipline. Okay, for this, as a result of this lack of consensus on some of this concept. Okay, yeah, it account and explain why we have uh, different sub disciplines in political science. For instance, we have political theory, we have comparative politics, we have public administration slash policy analysis, and then international relations. These are the core subfields, okay, we have in political science. And then we have scholars, okay, and scholars that specialize under this grouping, okay, to advance the discipline. Okay. So, um, yes, in terms of hierarchy, okay, in terms of hierarchy, within the three approaches we have just examined, the stipulative approach is the most popular, actually, okay? It's the most popular. Scholars, students of politics subscribe more to the speculative approach. Yeah. And then okay, the stipulative approach. Sorry, the stipulative approach. And then the second is the concept based and operationalization approach. Okay, of course. Scholars draw attention to and emphasize the aspect of politics that are of interest to to them. So they choose either concept based or operationalization approach to support their definition and explanation, especially in literature or in research work when it comes to politics. Okay, now let's look at the conceptualization of politics. Okay, so the most popular conception of politics are based on its complexity and its multi-dimensional nature. Okay, politics is of course complex, okay, and it has multi-dimension, okay, yeah, multi-dimension, more on the other side. So let's look at it quickly. So politics as activities that take place, yeah, in the public realm. That's the first, okay, yeah, first conception of politics. Okay. Yeah. Remember that the first one we look at, the one we just finished, was approaches, okay, to the definition. Now we're looking at the second hand, which is conception, okay, conception of politics. Now, so the first conception of politics is that politics is considered as activities that take place in the public realm. This is the oldest conception of politics that emphasizes shared interest, publicness, and common good that hold society and political system together. Okay, so activities that function, that happens in the public realm, okay, as against private realm. You remember those two concepts, public and private. Okay, so when we talk of politics, okay, so we take it to be activities, happenings, occurrences that take place in the public realm, in the public domain, okay? The generality of everyone, it captures everybody, it is for everybody or a large number of people in the society, okay? So we understand politics from that dimension. So first understanding, as we have it here, first conceptualization is that politics is the activities that happen in the public realm. The second conception, politics as activities of the state and government. Here, so this conception regards politics as activities related to the state, government, and governance as the essence of politics. Okay, this is actually advanced by Max Weber. So all that takes place, all the activities of the state and government is considered as politics. What the state do and its machinery, the government. Of course, you cannot separate the state from the government. Okay, the government, as we define in elementary government, is that it is the machinery of the state. So the state, the government carries out, or government carries out the will of the state. Why we say the state is permanent, government may not be permanent. So, but we have people that carries out the decision of the state, and that is government. So all that happens within the state and government, all the activities, is they are considered as politics under this conception. Hope you got that. Third conception: politics as conflict and consensus. This conception of politics emphasizes how conflicting outlooks, interests, and strategies drive politics. Of course, that's also quite advanced by Karl Marx, okay? That politics is all about interest, conflict, okay? So since we have interest, we will have conflicting interest, okay? And the conflicting interest shall, lead to consensus most times. Okay, so the activities that actually lead to conflict and then consensus, okay, is also considered as politics. Hope we got that. Okay, and then let's look at the fourth conception: politics as power. Power is the most fundamental element of politics and is related to influence, authority, and legitimacy. Okay, there is no way you talk about politics without power. It's actually the struggle for power. Okay, how to acquire it, how to maintain it, how to use it, relating to influence, authority, and legitimacy. Okay, so, and then the fifth: politics as political. This sounds quite funny, right? Politics as political. This simply means politics operationalized as involving relations of power. Okay, that's Robert Dye. Okay, relations of power. Okay, most time we say that the politics is too much. These people are political. You say that the governors are political. He's sounding political. What he's saying is political, right? Yeah, those intrigues now, the intrigues on how to make sure that you get what you want to get. Okay, we bring it under propaganda, under diplomacy, all of that, but they have to do with power relation. Here, it might not be using force to achieve what you want to achieve, but maybe using intrigues to achieve what you want to achieve. Okay, so all of these activities summed together come under politics as political. Okay, if you read the works of Robert Dye, you will have more understanding on that. Okay, fine. So this brings us to the conclusion under this module. So there are several other definitions of and conceptions of politics not covered here. That is true. The definition and conception of politics should be seen as complementary rather than contending. Of course, that's why we have a whole lot of these options. Okay, so none of these approaches or none of this conception, capture the entirety of politics. We have said earlier that politics is a complex, thing. So no single approach or definition can explain it all, but a combination of one or two, three can do that, and that's why you have several options. So we should see them as complementary. Okay, so one approach or conception complements another. Do we get that? So if that is appreciated, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for listening and your time. So this model was actually, brought to you courtesy of Professor V.A. Isumuna and Dr. D. Godwin. So let's see in the next model. God bless you and thanks.